Live.
We are live.
Here we go, man. Welcome to another episode of the Guys Next Door podcast. I'm your co-host Keenan, aka Giant, aka OVO Giant, and with us today we have the host of the show, the host with the mostest. What's up?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a long week, even though it's Monday today. Um,
Nah, listen, energy up, energy up, energy up.
Energy up. There we go. I need my annual or my weekly beer.
Yeah, just to get things lubricated
Ah,
and going the way it should. First of all, shout out to our Spotify listeners, shout out to the YouTube viewers. We're happy to have you with us. We appreciate all of the support. TikTok's lit, what, all of those sort of things. But we're out here, third week in. And yeah, happy to be potting. Listen, I just want to set the record straight before we get things started. You know what I'm saying? I thought about it. I was listening to a bit of Drake this morning and I thought about it. And I'm like, I'm tired of the disrespect. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
I'm tired of the disrespect because shout out Francois, shout out Faf, because in my view, the Red Cup podcast walked so that some of you guys out here can run. You know what I'm saying? Go check the files. Ain't none of these videos or episodes been deleted from YouTube like some of you other podcasts. We stand in what we believe in. That run has come and gone. But yeah, shout out to the guys next
Are
door.
you
The
are you
new
using
the new
are
the
you
new
using
generation.
our new podcast to plug your old podcast? Yeah.
Nah, I'm setting the record straight. You know what I'm saying? Setting the record straight. Nah, I'm just joking. There's space for everyone. In the area, in the vicinities. But that being said, I just thought I'd put that out there, put some respect on my name. You know what I mean? Birdman. Brr. Okay, nah, this was just jokes, just jokes. But yeah, first off, happy Women's Day to all the women out there. This past Wednesday was Women's Day. What did you do for the special lady in your life or ladies in your life?
Okay, I'm just gonna keep it very, very real with you, bro.
Did
I
nothing.
was I
No, it's
was
right.
so many minutes old when I found out that it was Women's Day on Wednesday.
Oh,
I just found out from you.
hectic.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Waited.
Oh,
No, you
to be
might.
honest, how did you know? How did you know?
Because I love the woman. Listen, woman will let you know, man. she'll pimp you
No,
the day before.
did you know because you live with a woman, or did you know because of social media? Because most of
Uh,
the time when I find out there's a holiday, it's because social media has told me.
I think it's a combination of the two, but I definitely knew it was Women's Day. I definitely knew it was Women's Day the day before Women's Day because it was like, you know what, it would be nice to get breakfast in bed, a massage, all of those sort of things.
Is that the hints that
Uh,
got thrown to you, or is this what you asked for?
yeah. Yes, my friend. But no, it's good. I think it's very important. Obviously, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the women, uh, both in our lives and in general. I feel, not to gas the women up, but I do feel like they are stronger than men in a lot of senses, like in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I
They,
I don't disagree with you. I think that there is a very real reason for that saying behind every strong man is an even stronger woman, in my opinion. I think the actual saying was behind every strong man is a strong woman, but I've recoined the phrase to say behind every strong man is a stronger woman because I don't know, just
mm,
in my own experiences watching my parents as I grew up watching and obviously my own experiences in relationships, like you are like any team, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And if you want to get anywhere in life, not to say that it's not possible to do it alone, but I think having a strong partner who supports you, who is good for you, who challenges you, who basically is down for you, and can play all those different roles that one needs in their life. You know, someone needs a
Yeah,
partner that is, for lack of a better word, a freak in the sheets and a lady in the streets. Like they are literally they're literally fulfilling your every need, and you them, you know, because we need to be
mm,
everything that they need. They need a man, they need a gangster, they need, you know what I mean.
for sure.
And I don't know, like you said, not to gas up the ladies and win some brownie points or anything, but I when I was very young, and this is I think the biggest thing, when I was very young I always thought my dad was Superman, my dad was Superman. And don't get me wrong, as
Mm.
I got older, I still am so grateful for everything my dad has done, and I will always be, and he still is Superman. But then what I
Yeah,
realized is that, you know, if my dad's Superman, my mom's fucking Goku. You know,
for sure.
she just gets stronger and stronger. And I
I
think
was
as
actually thinking, I was thinking about that as you were talking about it now. Like you saying that your dad, and I know you look up to your dad like hectically, like he's your hero. But I mean, based on what I know that your mom, in terms of time spent together, was there for most of the time because your dad was like traveling and working and stuff.
yeah, exactly. And
So just based on pure time, you learned probably the most from her.
bro, I'm not sure if I told you this, but when I was very young, when I was in primary school, and kids used to pick on me and stuff, and they would make like one or two racist remarks.
Mm.
The advice I got from my mom, not from my dad, was use your fisticuffs to teach them a lesson, son, and they won't do it anymore. So
Yeah, yeah.
my mom had to be dad and mom at times. And I think
Same for me.
you yeah, and you only realize and appreciate all of that the older
Mm.
you get. You only realize and appreciate how difficult it must have been.
Yeah, for sure. I can obviously, my situation as well. Like I grew up in a single parent household, and like the amount of respect that I have for women is just on another level because obviously being the majority of my family members as well, I grew up with my aunties and my female cousins, and then obviously my mom most of my life. So
Mm.
you see it from their side, man. Like in terms of friends, to be honest, apart from you and a few other guys as well, I get along better with females than what I do with guys sometimes. Like I feel more comfortable with females sometimes more than what I do with guys. Like my best friend at work or my work friend is a female. You know what I mean?
So, question that's actually brings up a, you know, it's kind of related, I guess, and that is through the years, primary school, high school, varsity, I did always have a very close female friend all the
Hmm.
years. And
Hmm.
basically,
Yeah, that's true.
the question I wanted to ask you is, how difficult is it to navigate having a very close friendship with a female when you are in a committed relationship? Because obviously, partners can feel insecure when you are that close with someone of the opposite sex or the same sex, depending on what your preference is.
Listen, I'm gonna keep it super real. Obviously, like the Guys Next Door podcast, we here to be honest and navigate through these difficult situations. So
Yeah.
from my side, um, I did, like I said, I always felt more comfortable with females than guys. So I did have a lot of female friends. I think back to you, I mean, when I was in varsity, I was dating this one girl, and then we broke up, and we then actually became friends after we broke up. So
Mm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would still hang out and all that stuff. But when you're in a committed relationship, it's very hard. And I did try it for a bit. Like I
Yeah.
did try to still keep my one friend close. And I mean, I you can already tell that it's uncomfortable from the other party's perspective.
Yeah,
So
because even if your partner isn't feeling insecure, they may be worried that the partner may not like them because they may feel like it's inappropriate.
but I mean, we're also human. Like for your partner, there will always be that sense of that is still the opposite sex. And there is still that if the person's good looking or whatever the case may be, you'll play a whole lot of different scenarios in your head.
Yeah.
So what I did was I tried to, make her feel better and comfortable around the fact that, this person, we never really hooked up to that level.
Mm-hmm.
They were a lesbian, so they weren't really interested in guys. You
Mm-hmm.
say all these things, but it's like unnecessary to say. You know what I mean? Because if it was a
Yes.
guy, you wouldn't have to explain, oh, he's gay or we've never hooked up before because it's a guy. But
No,
then on the
obviously.
other
Yeah.
hand, but then on the other hand, she's had guy friends as well. And then I'm
You
like,
see, so this is the question: like, where does
it
the
works both ways.
but
It's
the guy friend
uncomfortable
she's
both ways.
had, the guy friend she's had, are they heterosexual or are they
Heterosexual.
gay? Okay.
Heterosexual.
So
So her best friend is like married already, and he's a guy.
okay.
So that
Okay.
makes it easier for me because you never think in that way. But I still stand in the fact that we as humans shouldn't be thinking like that. It's obviously because you hear about stories on Facebook and on social media of like, he just said she's a friend or she just said he's a friend, and then
Mm.
they end up hooking up or cheating with the friend. It's always one or two bad apples that spoil it for the rest of us.
True. Okay. Cool. So that's going to bring me to, I guess, my second part of the question, which is, do you think it's possible? And I'm assuming I know what your answer is, but do you think it's possible for a man and a woman, if they are heterosexual, to literally and legitimately just be friends? Or do you think that one of the two always are hoping for more, expecting more, like there's not an ulterior motive, but if, for example, the one had to make a move, the other one would be down. Like, what's your thoughts?
Again, I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to say, first off, there has to be boundaries. Your
Mm,
partner also has to be very comfortable with the person. Like they have to have had interactions with each other and like real conversations with each other.
mm,
And then, second of all, there needs to be like boundaries. You need to have boundaries in terms of it just has to be that way. It has to be that way in terms of um, let's use me and you as an example. You've gone with me into the bathroom and we've gone to the toilet and whizzed and you know, it's
yeah.
chilled. But me and a female friend going into a unisex bathroom, it's not the same thing.
No, of course not.
I'm using that as an example.
Mm,
We've guys shower together in rugby teams. They all shower in the same showers. My girlfriend and I can't shower in the same shower. Luke is here just in time for the hot topics. Yeah, I'm getting hot in here. You're asking these tough questions.
That seems like a very interesting topic.
so
Yeah,
to
but
catch
am I
you,
But
making
carry on.
sense? Am I making sense, Nathan?
yes, you are making sense. Let me just catch Luke up on what the question was. The question was, Luke, do you think that it is possible for men and women, obviously in this
Heterosexual.
example, a
Heterosexual.
heterosexual, yeah, obviously in this example, we're talking about heterosexual men and women. Is it possible for them to like legitimately just be platonic friends, or is there always one of the two that either hopes for more or expects more or is just waiting for the opportunity and then will pounce? What's your opinion?
For me, this is based on experience. So I believe that there's always going to be one that will be not necessarily expecting more, but is hopeful that something can happen.
This is why it's good to have another perspective, eh?
Um, so yeah, that's just me
Sorry,
calling a spade a spade.
but
No,
again,
I like I like your opinion.
sorry to cut you off, Luke. But in that situation, you're talking about someone that has expectations. From my example, I'm talking about there's no expectations. You guys are just friends. But in order for you to be friends, there has to be certain boundaries. Like You can't do
So
the same things you do with your guy friends, for
yeah, so
instance.
basically what you're saying, okay, but then you see, you can go deep in with this because then you can ask the question: if you're just platonic friends, why can't you do the same things that you're doing with your guy friends?
Okay, let me put it to you like this. We've, this is probably going to be taken the wrong way, but fuck it. We've slept in the same bed before. Like
Yes.
we've had a rough night and we ended up just laying in the same bed because all the beds were taken. Like there was guys
Yeah.
on the couch inside, and so we ended up sleeping on the same bed. Now,
Mm.
do you think that in any world you would be able to do that with a female friend?
I think I think that in a world where guys and girls can be just platonic friends, that should be allowed. So if your opinion is that guys and girls can legitimately be platonic friends, then I think in that world they should be allowed to crash in the same bed because that's the only bed that was available and have it not
Ma,
be a problem. But I don't
no,
think we
but
live
my
in that world. I think we live in the world that Luke just explained, which is there's always someone that if even if they're not hoping, even if they're not expecting it, they're down for if something had to happen.
no, but remember, my stance was yes, it is possible, but there has to
Mm.
be
There has to be
boundaries.
boundaries.
That's all
But
that I'm
but but
saying.
then true. No, I get it. I get it. But we can go off on a tangent here. I want to do actually now that Luke has joined. My first question that I wanted to pose to you, gentlemen, for the week is, and let's start with two. But if you can think of three, I'm making it two just to make it easier. But oh, we just
We've
lost
lost
Luke.
Luke.
Okay.
Hmm.
I want to go with two red flags and two green flags when dating for you personally.
Okay. Is this now, let's say I was single now, or is this back in the day?
I
Because they're
don't
still
want
the
to
same.
use. Okay, yes, exactly. So, okay, we know that you are married. You don't have to. You
Hmm.
don't have to check in every week and say, "Oh, there's just another question."
Okay, cool, cool. That's just for
So whenever,
conversation. Just for the
yes.
conversation.
So
Okay,
whenever I ask
cool,
these
cool.
types of questions, it's always
If this
hypothetical.
situation, okay, cool, cool. Hypothetical. Two green, two red. So two green for me would be an independent woman. I think that's
To
very
agree.
important.
Okay.
Uh, Second one, I would, back in the day, I would have had to say she needed to be a Christian, but now
Mm-hmm.
I would say that she needs to believe in God. Like she needs to believe that there's a God and
Higher
that there's a
power.
higher power. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So because what I feel, not religion, but just the concept of that, to to believe in karma, to believe in the universe, to believe that you need to be a good person. I like the concept of religion. I don't like the
Yes,
actual practical
I
of
get
it.
you. I actually fully agree, 100%. Actually.
So yeah, that's the two green flags.
Okay. Just a question on the first green flag. When you said an independent woman, in a
Mm.
in a very quick summary, what is an independent woman to you?
It depends on what level of the relationship we're in and what age she's in. But someone, if she's in her 30s, someone that has her own place, someone that has her own car, that's, has a career, her own career. She doesn't need to rely on me for anything. She can sort out herself, like her basic stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, that's just me. Like, I know
So
not a
that's
lot of guys are like that.
so that's your green flags. So while you're thinking of your red flags, I'm going to ask Luke what his green flags are. So Luke, the question I posed was, I want two. If you can think of three, then great. But I want two green flags when dating and two red flags when dating. Hypothetically, we all know that you're in a relationship. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
don't have
no,
to
of
say that
course.
every week.
So I would say a green flag when dating um, would most likely be obviously loyalty. Um, so, but this is going to be a bit tricky. So to get
But you
into a
can't. You
space
can't.
where,
You can't know if they're loyal. Like I'm saying, like green flag. Like while you're getting to know someone, You're not going to know if they're
Early
loyal. You
stage.
know what I mean?
Early
While they're
stage.
getting to know.
Yeah.
Let's say, okay, if she's talking about herself a lot without me asking the questions.
You like that.
So for me, that's, yeah, I would say that. No, I mean, this now, I'm starting with the red flags, and then I'll go into, and then and then I'll go into the green zone.
Okay.
Yeah, so talking too much about themselves, and spending too much time on the phone. I'm all
Okay.
about
Good
that.
one.
I'm all about the personal
Interaction.
connection,
Yeah.
not
Okay.
the connection over the phone.
Okay, so while you think of your green flags and you think of your red flags, I might as well start with my red flags. For me, one thing that I find to be a turn off is like someone who's not very hygienic. So now story time. I went on a date with a girl many years ago.
Yo, if she's listening, apologies to her.
I'm not going to mention any names. So I went on a date with a girl many years ago, and don't get me wrong, females, the females that I date don't have to be dolled up to the nines. I don't expect them to have manicured nails and whatnot. But if your nails are done, I expect them all to match. So when I
No, man.
So no, when I say match, I mean 4 of the 5 nails can't be done, and then have the one just missing the nail. And I'm not saying like the nail
Maybe-
is off. I'm saying the fake nail is off.
Maybe something happened during the course of the
Yeah,
day or the
on the
week.
way.
So
On the way
you-
to you today.
I went to go fetch her. So to complete the story. So to complete the story, I fetched this girl. I greet her. She gets in the car, and obviously I'm driving. And through conversation, I notice she's missing a fingernail, a fake nail. And then I'm starting to work myself up. And this is younger Nathan, so he has less patience. And I'm like, and I'm starting to get annoyed because I'm just thinking to myself, and I'm running this through my mind. I'm like, I showered, I got dressed up, I smell good. I drove all the way here to fetch you. Like, I put in effort for this date.
Well,
You could have
all
been
your
easy.
nails nice.
Yes, 100%. And like I said, my nails weren't done. I didn't get a manicure or anything, but I was clean. And everything matched. And it's just like, if your nail fell off in the week, take all of them off. Then I would much rather you have.
Yeah,
I would
fair
much
enough.
rather you have nice, like clean nails instead of like 4 like long ones. And then, but anyway. So
The ladies are gonna kill us. The
Long story
ladies are gonna
short,
say we ignorant.
That was such
No,
a
I
red
think some of
flag.
them will agree.
That was
Is
such
it?
a red flag for me that I took her home.
Wait, you didn't finish the date, nothing.
So at the end of this date, she was going to come back to my place and she was going to stay the night. And at the end of the party, I was like, "So I have an early morning. I'm gonna take you home, eh?" And then she was like,
The parachute.
Classy.
Okay, yeah. So we still had the date, but it didn't continue.
It was
Okay,
gonna
green
escalate
flags.
from there.
Or red
Wait,
flags,
that was one. That was one.
I need to think of more. You go next. I'll think of others.
Red flag.
Yeah.
Red flag for me. It's similar to Luke's, but just a girl that's very demanding, like on the first date. Like a girl that tells you, I expect this, I expect that, I expect the guy to do this, and like almost hinting from the start what she expects from a man. Like that just lays the law in the beginning. Like I don't want a guy that's not gonna take care of me. Oh, if you come with that line, like I'm obviously out already. Because you should be able to take care of yourself. Another red flag for me is it's gonna sound terrible, but if you a lady that a lot of the gentlemen know, you know what I mean? Like, there's a Drake and the Weekend song that goes "Loving the Crew."
Maybe maybe
you have
she
a
hits you with a
reputation, yeah, if you have a
she hits
reputation,
you with a she's friends or they're just
She has
friends.
lots of friends. She has lots of friends.
lots of
And there's
guy friends.
boundaries.
I know what that means. Yo, I
I'm
completely contradicted what I said earlier. But if she
yeah.
says I have a lot of guy friends,
Mm.
nah, it's a red flag for me.
Luke, do you know so that's your two red flags is
Yeah,
very demanding and has lots of guy friends.
yeah, that's me
Okay,
out.
okay. Interesting. Mr. Luke Stevens, what's your green
So
flags?
green flag, um, in no particular order. I'll start off with one. So for me, would be a good sense of humor. Um, I don't want a bland female, and then one who has or who plans to travel,
Okay.
because that gives me a sign that you are curious, you're open-minded, you want to learn new things. I would actually say that's probably the top one.
Okay. Interesting.
That's a
That
good
that
one.
second
And
one, the second one is a good one.
the second one also tells you that she's thinking beyond just Cape Town or just her own bubble. Like she has
Yeah,
goals.
Which
Yeah,
is
that's cool.
and not to say
definitely.
that if you're staying in Cape Town you don't have goals, but obviously knowing you, Luke, that's in line with how you see your life. So that would be important for you.
Yeah.
I would I would say that a green flag. I know I still owe you guys a red flag, but I would say a green flag for me is conversation. I think that whenever I've gotten into a relationship with someone, I remember myself saying the words to one of my friends, so to be one of you guys, and I'll be like, "Yo, we spoke for 5 hours." So that's always like a good conversationalist, which I think would translate to intelligence is a big green flag for me. I enjoy a smart
Mm.
chick. Mm.
Being stimulated, mentally stimulated.
Yeah.
What's a red flag? You always one red flag.
My other red. Okay, so what would you boil my first one down to be? Unhygienic. Would that be the first
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
So I think unhygienic would be the first one. What were we gonna say,
Or
Tina?
self maintenance. I'll put it down to that.
Okay.
Self-care vibes.
Self
Because a
care.
broken nail doesn't necessarily mean that you're unhygienic.
But I do want to group that into one because then my other one would be unhygienic.
So you're gonna split them. You're gonna split them.
Okay, yes,
Lack
yes.
of lack of self care and being unhygienic. That's your two red flags.
Yeah. Although I think
Lack of
those two
awareness.
hold hands. So those are my two red flags. Just look after yourself. That's all. That's all I ask. Look after yourself, and then
Speaking, are we
hey?
done with it? I wanted to
Yeah,
move
yeah.
on to the topic of holding hands. So we got
Okay.
a good question from someone on the YouTube comments actually with regards
Yes.
to PDA. I think her name is
Shout
it
out to Carisha for the questions.
Karisha.
We really appreciate it.
So Carisha asked, what do we think about PDA? But I think what's even a more interesting question, we can answer the PDA question.
Mm.
So public display of affection. But how do you guys feel about social media PDA as well? Like displays of affection with your partner.
Who wants to go first? Because I have a very opinionated answer.
I think you should go first then.
I will.
Luke, go.
Are you talking about a very long, strong, hard opinion there, Nathan?
No, not a long one. Just I have a strong opinion.
Uh, okay, now then you can go.
Okay, because I'm not going to sit on the fence here. When it comes to PDA, I'm notoriously not a fan of it. In fact, it makes me kind of uncomfortable. And I'm talking about actually holding hands with someone in public.
Mm.
However, if I know that it's something that is important to my partner, I will do it even though it makes me uncomfortable. Where I do draw the line with PDA is social media, and simply because I've experienced I feel like when you post about your relationship or your life on social media, you're inviting all of your followers and anybody online into your relationship. And I prefer to keep that separate and personal. So for me, PDA and social media is a no-no.
Good stuff. Luke?
Yeah, I agree with probably everything Nathan said. The social media is a big no, because I feel like the more people that can see, or more people that are involved, the more drama there could be. And I feel like if you limit that, the more successful or the happier your relationship will be. With regard to, I find it interesting that, Nathan, you said, I mean, if something like holding hands is important for your partner, that you still do it even though you feel uncomfortable. This is something that I personally have a challenge with. Like from time to time, I will hold hands and put my arm around my partner, but there are times where the holding hands long term gets uncomfortable for me. So that's usually when I just break away, but it hasn't been an issue.
Yeah, no, can I make a little comment on that before you go, Keenan, about your opinion? Is just that, like, for example, I've had the setup before of, I'll just be honest and I'll say, like, listen, holding hands in public isn't my vibe and it makes me uncomfortable. So if we were walking on the street, I'll hold your hand because that's, that's cute, keeping you safe, blah, blah, blah. But once we walk into a store, I don't want to be walking around inside holding your hand because then I feel like either I'm walking with a child or, you know what I mean? So then I'm just open about those kind of moments.
Yeah.
I must always be the different one, so I'm going to take a slightly different stance to you guys.
Go for
I
it.
don't mind the holding hands. Like the holding hands for me, we were in Century City this evening, and she likes to hold my hand. Like her love language is touch and quality time, but especially touch. So she holds mine, and I don't have an issue with it. Like I actually like it. It's lekker. It's cute.
And social media?
No, but also just before we go to social media, also with the holding hands in public, she just doesn't know how to walk properly. So that's the only time we stop holding because you walk. Like, I don't know, our walking is just off sync. I don't know if it's because I have long legs or what the case. But yeah, that's when I stop. Then it's like, enough of this. You're now bumping into me. So that's one part. And then social media is funny because I think it's changed over time. Like as I've grown older, when I was younger, like I used to love that shit. Yo, I post my girlfriend. I posted us on the beach and we like just loving each other and what. But I think that was also just like in line with Nathan's point. You will see nothing that is sacred to me or very important to me or really special moments in my life. You won't see it on social media. Like actual speeches or like at my 30th, for instance, I didn't post any of the speeches that were said at my 30th. I didn't really. When I go to a birthday party, I think like we had your birthday party here a couple of weekends ago. There was no I think there was one picture taken.
Yeah, and it was
so
like
the
at the end of the
important
night.
things in my life. Yeah. So the important stuff with regards to my relationship or when we really spending quality time together, I'll never post on social media.
I just want to have a little comment about that whole social media thing. It's not about public displays of affection, but I used to date an influencer back in the day. And there was a moment where we were driving to Camps Bay. This was like when Instagram was still pretty young. And we were driving, and I don't know if I made a joke or if she made a joke. I think it was me, because your boy's funny, and we started laughing and stuff. And then she took out her phone. Then she took out her phone, and then she was like, "Just redo that joke quickly."
Oh no!
And she stopped the real life laughter that was happening in the moment to record a fake version of it.
You
and
killed it. You
it killed
killed
it for
it.
me, eh? Like it actually spoiled the night for me to the extent that at least 5, 6, 7 years later, I still remember that
Yeah,
moment of
that
that night,
moment.
but I don't
Yeah,
remember the date.
that's terrible. But I mean, hopefully that's a lesson to everyone because whether you're an influencer or not, like I heard there's this term now, micro influencer. Um, to constantly remember to still be in the moment for a lot of things because people like there's this saying now that I hate, which is if you didn't Instagram it, it didn't happen. Like
Ish.
how is that life? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not.
But
It's
also
not.
in terms of social media, we got another question from Carisha. Did I say that
Mm-hmm.
right?
Carisha, yeah?
And it's a very interesting question, and I think we can have quite a bit of conversation about that. But with regards to liking half naked pictures on Instagram of girls,
Ooh,
whatever the case may be. So I'll
okay.
start off first. Let's use like for like here, okay? So if we're saying that we're not going to post any of our most sacred moments on Instagram, or people like
Mm.
to say nothing important in my life, you'll see on my social media. Even influencers will say what I put on social media isn't like my real life, isn't the real me. I give you
A
what I want
curated
to give
version.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now if we apply all of those things, while we put in so much emphasis and reading so much into someone liking a picture on social media. And then just to add on to that, my second point is it's not the same for guys and girls. So again, there's this double standard where if a girl goes and likes a guy that's half naked, that hasn't got his top on, us as guys, are you really going to feel some type of way about that?
Well, I
Like,
can answer your question for you. I've had a guy
yeah.
come up to me in a club, and Juicy was with me at the time, and he told me that his wife pervs on me on Instagram, and then he bought me and Juicy drinks. And for me, I was like, I stepped
No,
into the
you
twilight zone. I
see.
was like,
Damn.
what's going on here?
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
He got a little
And
bit deeper. I don't know if I should share this on the pod. I can cut this out, I guess. But he even told me that sometimes he can tell that she got her jollies off on looking at my posts first before they got busy.
Excellent play.
Look here now, then. That sounds a bit like a cuckold.
Maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit. Because
That
listen, he
sounds a
bought
bit
me a
like a
drink.
cock. That's funny. But my last point is, what was my last point? Yes, my last point is, have you ever gone to go and look for what your partner is liking? You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't know that you could.
Is
So
oh,
that a
you
new
I don't know
feature?
how.
can you see what your partner likes on Instagram and stuff?
Listen, social media, especially Instagram, is dominated by women. There's not a lot of guys that post on Instagram. So we're talking about pure numbers here also. But let's say on the For You page.
Give us the stats, sir.
If you look at it from a mathematical standpoint, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's like that. It's maybe 89% female, 11% male. But that
So
being
the
said,
is that the
the For You
posting
page,
people? Okay.
yeah, the females post way more than guys. So the For You page is mainly just females. And the
Mhm.
algorithm's algorithm, you know what I mean?
Okay, but what does your homepage look like, Keenan? Say if I go into your
Man,
Instagram now, I've opened it up and I do this,
there's
what's
gonna
going
be
to flash past
females.
my?
I promise you there's gonna be a female. Like
Are they
it's
gonna be
just
wearing bikinis?
listen, I still believe that is Instagram. That's the algorithm. Now That's
Okay,
the platform.
No, no, no,
Wait,
no.
wait. I got one more thing. If you go and look at my TikTok, if you scroll through my TikTok,
Yeah.
it's completely different. Like my content, because TikTok is a different platform in terms of content. It's way, guys. I'm just gonna say it. I feel like Instagram is just about posting the liquor pictures now. That's all it is.
I mean, it
There's
is.
no
It is.
family pictures being posted. There's no girls don't even post with their boyfriends now. It's like this. This is the post now with the boyfriend, like his arm, always like that. Hi
Yeah.
guys. This is then they're holding each other like this. This is the guy. Then
And
she's hugging him like this.
and you must get the booty shot there in the back.
Yeah.
The
Like
right
you don't
angle.
see the bra. You don't see the bra at all, but she's out like facing the camera.
I've noticed that. I'll always wonder because like these girls will be like in expensive cars and stuff, and then you'll never see who's driving the car. I always wonder, like, how does the guy
Some
feel?
sweaty old man.
It's either that, or that guy has spinned her story of, baby, I just feel like we need to keep our privacy, our relationship private and to each other. You know, people hate out there
No,
in the
but you
world.
see, now you're making it sound like our reasons for not wanting PDA on social media is this line that we're spinning to the girls, but that is also true. Just think about it. The excuse that you say that the guy could give, which is very true, he could say that, is the exact same reason we gave for not wanting to show PDA on social media.
Now I'm talking about we've done it before. Like we've at least shown our partners in some fashion or sort. Like I'm talking, and we've had long-term relationships. I'm talking about, again, red flag, green flag. When you just start
Okay.
out,
Okay.
they like, listen.
Okay.
Let me just some advice to the ladies. That guy is still hooking up with other girls. I'm telling you now, 100%. He's keeping his options open.
If he's not posting and it's early days.
No, if he tells you, don't, like, you guys are you want to post something, and you're on a date, and he says, nah, don't post my face. Don't, please. Sorry.
That actually makes me realize. Sorry, like I think that'll be quite an interesting thing to speak about to help the ladies out. How to look out for if a guy is serious or not, or he's just looking, assessing his options.
Yeah, that's a good topic.
And I think this is where females lack. Unfortunately, I'm going to say something very controversial, but women are very easily persuaded by men. So I think if we can help out some of the ladies with regards to that, we could save a few lives.
Let me just help Luke out there with that one. There's always the exception to the rule. So if you feel that you're the exception to the rule, then what Luke said wasn't for you. But we're talking about in general, because they have that feeling of trust. Like women believe in love, women believe in romance. It's just the way they're wired. Like I'm not saying men are again as well. I'm just talking about in general. So they're more open to believing a guy and even looking past these red flags, because either one, they feel they can change him, or two, they feel that you are supposed to, when you love someone, it's supposed to be difficult. Like you're supposed to struggle.
Well, I've heard that men fall in love with what they see, so that's why women wear makeup, and women fall in love with what they hear, so that's why men lie.
Sure.
And the thing is, I agree with what you're saying, Luke, that women can be easily manipulated. But the reason why I put up my hand there slightly is I think anybody can be easily manipulated when they're being manipulated by an operator. And I think where we can come in is that I don't. This is not a point of pride for neither Keenan nor I, but we used to move around in those circles, so we can spot an operator from a mile away. And
Mm.
I think that if there was a woman in our life that needed advice and they came to us and said, these are the facts of the case, this is what he
Yeah.
said to me, this is how he behaves, I think we would be in a pretty good position to be able to give her advice on if he is actually interested or not, or if he's an operator.
100%.
Mm.
But I mean, I just want to get back to also Luke's point. Again, it's in general. So if this doesn't apply to you, then move on. If the shoe fits, wear it. But I think advice from a guy's perspective to females out there is that be aware of him not remaining consistent in what he tells you. Like if he's
Mm.
changing up, if he switches up all the time, that's one thing to be aware of. Also, look at the way he treats his mother. That's another, I think, thing to look out for because
What piece of advice are you giving right now? What red flags to look out for in a guy? Is that
red
basically what you're
flags,
saying?
red flags.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So if he treats his mother with disrespect or he's used to just getting his way with his mom, um, I don't know, it seems like a far stretch, but I have seen it before. Like that spoiled behavior runs into your relationships where you feel like you can get everything you want and you can have everything you want your way, which often translates into wanting more than one woman. You want to be spoiled for choice.
Well, psychologists believe that we learn, like men learn to love from their moms, and women learn to love in general from their dads. Obviously, as you mentioned, there's always exceptions to the rule. Some kids grow up with one mom, or some kids grow up with two dads. You know what I mean? But in general, that those are the figures who you learn to love from. And what I wanted to say is that fuck, I hate to blank now. What was the last thing you just
While
said now?
flip, I forgot. But also one other easy tip. One easy tip
Oh
is
yes, yes. Okay. Continue.
keep an eye out for whether he introduces you to his friends or not, or whether he wants to keep you away from his friends.
Why do
Like
you say that?
especially if you guys have been going out for for quite some time, like a few months. And I'm not talking about the first couple of weeks, that's different.
Mm,
But if you guys have been dating for a few months and he still
mm.
hasn't introduced you to at least one of his best friends or taken you to a braai or a social gathering, it's a massive red flag.
One thing I would say, red flag wise, let me think about advice I've given recently. Um, look out for this, and this I think is a common one. But these types of guys, I always find it interesting when you will be talking every day. You're telling each other you're whispering sweet nothings into each other's ears before you go to bed at night and when you wake up in the morning. You are maybe being intimate already, physically. So you're doing everything that a couple's doing, but no, we're not dating just yet because this isn't right, or you live too far, so we're not officially dating, but everything else points towards we are dating. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
We're
And
taking it
I
slow.
found, yeah, and generally that is when the guy is keeping you on a lane. So he's keeping
Yeah.
his options open. He's keeping you right there where he can see you and where he can touch you,
Mm.
figuratively and literally. And he's basically being Miley Cyrus. He's getting his bread buttered both sides. He's not in a relationship with you. So if he cheats, he's not cheating, and
Mm.
he is with you, so he's still getting the benefits of being in a relationship with you. So yeah,
Yeah, we're turning into Steve Harvey here, giving all the secrets. I actually watched that movie the other day. That's some bullshit, eh?
why is it
Like
bullshit?
he was also contradicting himself. On the one hand, he's saying to
Mm,
the woman that she needs to, the successful woman, he's saying to her, drop your standards because why does a man have to meet every single one of your standards as a successful woman? Then on the
mm,
other hand, he's saying to the other woman, um, uh, uh, you haven't required your man to do something. You haven't set the expectation for him to do something. And the reason why
No.
I'm saying it's bullshit, because every
Okay.
situation is going to be different. You can't give
No, but that's
advice on a
exactly.
blanket statement.
No, but it wasn't a blanket statement. So when Steve, he's talking about two different people there. So the first example, he's talking about a woman that is hyper successful and they
Mm.
can't find love. And he's saying, listen, if you're hyper successful, if you earn a six-figure salary, does your man have to earn a six-figure salary? So that's one example. Then the other example was you can't get your partner to either mature, commit, or grow up, or take the next step in their career or in their lives. So you're dating the man-child one. So the man-child hasn't grown up yet because you haven't required him to grow up. Whereas the other one is a completely different example. And it actually brings me back to what you said earlier, which I found interesting. Because you said you would like the girls to be independent. It's a green flag for you. But the thing is, independence looks different. And I would just like to add, you are in a very happy, healthy marriage right now, and you never had a place of your own when you met your now wife, then girlfriend. But yet it's a requirement for you if you were hypothetically single right now. What happens if someone just isn't in that stage of their life yet where they have their own place, but they're going
That's why
places?
that's exactly, now you're proving my point again. That's why I said you can't have a blanket approach, because every situation is different. Like,
True.
let's use the successful woman, because that's exactly what I had. Like, I had a successful woman, but I
Mm.
wasn't working, I wasn't earning, nothing like that. I wasn't
Well, because you were
successful.
still a student. No, you were still a student. You were. It's not like you were
Yes, I
deadbeat.
get that. I get
Yeah, but
that.
the
But
people
then,
don't know this, so you need to say it.
but like I was saying, that's why I'm saying it should be a combination of the two, because the combination was, yes, I don't need to earn a six-figure salary, but she also, I knew, required me, even if she didn't say it, she also required me to have goals, to be hardworking, to be responsible, to show a bit of potential. You know what I mean? So that's why
Yeah,
I'm saying you can mirror the two. You can have a situation where, yes, I agree, a woman shouldn't only require a man that earns the same as her or earns more than her to be, okay, that's the guy I'm going to go for. Because 10 to 1, a lot of the times, those guys, because they
yeah,
entitled like that, they feel they can treat you any other way. But
yeah.
if you
Because they
are
can buy
dating the
you.
guy,
Mm.
yeah. But if you are dating the guy that's lower than you in terms of class or financially, you also need to require him to get to that level, to motivate him or push him to get to that level. Again, circling back to our point from earlier, I actually changed it to, next to every great man, there's even a greater woman.
Well,
That's
it's
my
literally
thoughts
what
on
I
it.
said earlier. I said behind every strong man is a stronger
Nah, you
woman.
still said
Come on,
behind.
man.
I said next to. I said that behind is still the problem. You know what I'm saying? You can see I've been
You
working with
can't
my
win here.
PR.
You can't. You cannot win. You cannot win these days, bruh.
Have
Give
we
me the
lost
look of
Luke?
the. We have lost Luke, yeah. But I mean, Luke hasn't been with us today at all, so you can't lose something you
quickly,
never had.
quickly, I just want to get to Carisha's last question or last point.
Okay.
Is the clickiness in Cape Town?
Okay.
Let's just put it out there. It is a fact. Cape Town is very clicky. But what's your
Mm.
thoughts on it?
You see, it's a tough one for me to answer because I'm lucky enough to have grown up in Cape Town. So I've always had a clique or two or three or four. So I've never experienced Cape Town as someone from Durban or someone from Joburg or even a foreigner where you come in and you see all these different cliques and you don't have somewhere to belong. So it's difficult for me to talk about how cliquey Cape Town is. However, I will add that I've heard from a lot of people that are not from here that say
Hmm.
that Cape Town is incredibly cliquey compared to like Joburg, for example. So that's the only comment I really have because I haven't experienced it.
From my experience, like I said, I definitely agree with her that Cape Town is very cliquey. But I don't think that we should be like that. So it's again, I'm going to give both sides of it. So, one, I definitely believe that you need to have your circle, like your closest people, that your ride or dies that you can go to in your most difficult moment, like those people that you can rely on, that you
Your
can trust with
family.
your deepest, darkest secrets. Load
Yeah.
shedding, oh, load shedding.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
um, but yeah, also on the other hand, and I think you've experienced this as well, being in the entertainment industry, is that you get to learn so much more from new people that you meet. You get to see a different perspective, a new outlook on life. So I'm not in any way saying that we all should be going out there and looking for new friends to, be close to and all of those sort of things. But I
Yeah.
do think that we're selling ourselves short if we don't interact with other people. Because if you and I only talk to each other, we only going to
Yeah.
understand each other's point of view. We're
And we're
not going
never
to
learning anything new. Yeah.
see different. Exactly. So you never
Yeah.
grow. And ultimately, our goal is to grow as individuals.
Yeah. I
But I
mean,
thought it was a very interesting topic she brought up. I have one more topic, and this is also story time. I think this segment of the pod we're going to call Confessions.
okay. Interesting.
So recently, I figured out that age is a motherfucker.
Hmm.
Like, I'm taking medicine in order to party. I'm taking milk thistle. I'm taking rehydrate. I'm taking throat lozenges because I smoke too much oka. And it's just crazy to me, man. Like, honestly, my medical aid, thank God, touch wood, I'm not a very sickly individual.
Mm.
But when I do go to the pharmacy, I go to the pharmacy for my Get Lit package. And I always think to myself that this chemist or this pharmacist must be judging me so hard because the combination of stuff tells you. I actually did
The-
have a pharmacist tell me once, "Yo, you're having a party this weekend." So I'm like, yeah, a prevention is better than cure. So yeah, shout out to the pharmacists out there. Shout out to my medical aid, helping me drink since I've been working. Because goddamn, the medication is lit for the Get Lit.
I'm not gonna lie. When you first mentioned that you use medication to get lit, I thought you meant like you take expired medication and then you're going on like a trip. No,
Nah, I'm
not
taking
medication
pre-game
just to
for
survive.
pre-game for the pre-game. But nah,
Although I
technically,
have
like,
I have started using the milk thistle because of you.
yeah, no, I must.
Mm.
I know somewhere down the line it's gonna protect me. Do you know that Ric Flair has been drinking every single day since 1972?
It looks
But then
like he's been
again,
drinking.
you can
It looks
see
like he's
it.
been drinking.
Also, talking about getting old, do you know that when you left here on Saturday, I took a nap?
But you then woke up when I called you the next day. It was almost 12 o'clock and you had just woken up.
Yeah, but I took a nap after you left. The sun and the day drinking. I can't even day drink anymore. Eh? Yeah,
Oh, it's
it's
bad.
hectic. It's bad. It's bad. Alcohol and I have a love-hate relationship.
I don't know. For me personally, it's
You're not
the
a heavy drinker. Like, you're
I'm not
really
a
not a heavy drinker.
I'm really not a heavy drinker, but what I'm starting to realize is how long how long I'm starting to take to bounce back after a heavy night of drinking. I mean, I could go out the next day.
Yeah.
Now I legitimately feel like I need a 2 week break before I can even
No.
think about going out again.
There's certain elements of getting old that's trash. Like the not having to answer to anyone, being independent, that's all liquor. But the paying bills and being responsible, it's all trash. And struggling to recover from a headache is trash. But anyway, we've gone quite some time now. I think we've had a good pod. Just want to say a massive shout out to all the supporters out there, everyone that's listening, Spotify listeners, YouTube viewers. We appreciate y'all.
We do also want to say that don't forget to like and subscribe, and also if you have any topics you would like us to cover, if you have any questions for myself and Keenan, for the ladies out there, if you want any advice on what he's doing or what he isn't doing, please let us know, and we will be back same time, same place next week. Have a good one, guys.
Cheers. Peace out.